Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mitch and today's the 25th of November 2022 and I'm standing in front of Subkach Church, which is on Komitas Avenue on the corner of Azerbaijan Avenue. So today I'd like to talk about the 6 main reasons why I think the diaspora don't want to come and live in Armenia. Of course, this is a very subjective view, but I think it's valid. And I'm also going to give some counter arguments for each point as to why I think perhaps they should reconsider, even in spite of the reasons they give for not wanting to come and live here. So as I said, we're here at Subkach Church and I'm going to be walking and talking as we go along. I'm going to be walking down Azerbaijan Avenue to the Cascade complex, and I hope you stay with me and enjoy the video. You'll get to see some of the sights as we walk along and talk. So stay with us and stay with us, okay? Komitas Avenue there, and we're going to be walking this way, turning right on Azerbaijan Avenue in just a minute. So the first reason why I think the diaspora don't want to come and live in Armenia is lack of job opportunities and a future for their children. It's certainly the case that in Western countries, generally speaking, there may be more job opportunities, though I think that's all a matter of perspective. But it's certainly one of the reasons they would give for not wanting to come and live here, and their children don't really have much future according to them. So why aren't there job opportunities here? I think it's a case of not so much that there's not opportunities, it's that the remuneration for jobs and the work is quite low compared to Western countries. So the salaries are quite low. They feel that there's no future here, especially for their children. But I would say that you know, if you were, for example, you wanted to be a doctor and you came to Armenia, I mean, there are very good medical universities here, very, very good, and no reason why you can't become a very highly qualified doctor just from your education here in Armenia. Okay, so you become a doctor and you don't get paid all that well, especially compared to Western countries, but you're contributing to the future of Armenia in a most wonderful way. And the doctors here, just for example, doctors are, I think, quite amazing human beings. So yeah, we can look at other jobs too, like professional jobs, and everybody's talking about IT now. But if you're in IT, you're a graphic designer or something like that, you can basically work anywhere in the world, and there's no reason why you couldn't come and live in Armenia and do those things online. So there's many opportunities there. I think we're building quite a strong network, and I see the future of Armenia as being quite bright, whereas a lot of perhaps diasporan Armenians and also Armenians who live here maybe think the opposite. So I think it's all a matter of perspective. So let me tell you now the second reason why I think the diaspora don't want to come and live in Armenia. The second reason is I think they are worried about the ongoing border conflict with Azerbaijan. They are fearful that there is going to be some kind of larger scale attack on Armenia, particularly in a Sunni region. They also worried about their children. If, for example, a boy is army age and they come back to live here, they don't necessarily want them to be fighting, or at least going in the army for a couple of years and defending the homeland. In particular, I think that they're just tired of the fact that there is no resolution after all of these years. I mean, look what's happened to Artsakh, for example. 5 big regions, I think it's 5 big regions, have fallen to Azerbaijani control, and not much really remains apart from the capital, Stepanakert, and surrounding and there's a few surrounding regions. I understand your concern, if I can talk directly to you. I understand your concern, but this is your motherland. Do you love your country enough to come back and help it, despite all of the difficulties? Most of you probably live in Western countries, and I can tell you that, having lived most of my life in Australia, a little bit in America as well, there are all sorts of evil things going on in the West, which I would consider even worse, a worse place for many of you to live, particularly when it comes to moral values, or the declining moral values of the West. Here we still have traditional family values, so that's a big and important reason why you should come and not be so concerned. Well, concerned, yes, but not use that as a reason not to come back to your country, because if you love your country, you'll sacrifice. You'll make many sacrifices for it. My wife and I have made many sacrifices to come and live here, but we don't regret it one bit, because we know that God is with us and He's helping us. We have family and friends here, friends who've become our family, and very, very important connections, and we feel we're making a contribution. So you can make a contribution too, and I encourage you to reconsider. Some would probably advise me to be careful with my words regarding the third point, but I'll get straight to it. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm only afraid of not telling you the truth, that's all. So the truth of the matter is, I think the third point is lack of organisation in government departments, and well, even in non-government departments for that matter. Now, it doesn't matter which government is in power. I'm not taking sides here. I'm just saying there is a lack of system and coordination, and a lack of information which is readily available to the public, particularly those who are coming with a view to living and working in Armenia. It can be quite, well, I can say it can be even quite distressing, because it's not straightforward. You can't find the information easily. Like how to obtain a driver's license, for example. What happens if your only language is English and everything's written in Armenian and Russian, for example? I mean, you can find the answers, but it's difficult. It's like pulling a tooth. So yes, there is a lack of organisation. There is a lack of communication within government departments, and that's something certainly that can be improved. But believe me when I tell you this, Armenia is working on that problem. It's not an easy fix. It's not an easy fix by any means, but slowly we have got amazing young diasporan Armenians that have come through the EGORTS program, for example, and they are offering their expertise to government departments from what they have learnt in their countries. I mean, we've been living here for 8 years, nearly 9 now, as I said, but honestly, if you allow certain things to trouble you, to distress you, to worry you, well, you're only going to get more and more distressed and more worried. So you have to either accept the situation as it is and go with the flow, or you fight against it and go back home again, which unfortunately many of the diaspora have done. They come for a while, they have a look around, and they know it's too hard, we're going to go back. I'm just saying, again, if you want to help build your country, you have to be prepared to make some sacrifices. And if lack of system is one of the things that we have to tackle with here in Armenia, then it's one of the things we have to tackle with. That's it. That's all there is to it. Doesn't mean that it doesn't get done. It just gets done in maybe a more difficult and laborious way than it should. If we want to make change, we have to be a part of the change, not just talk about it all the time and talk about the problems of Armenia. We can do that forever and a day. But the fact is, if you're not here, and if you're not making a contribution to the society here with your physical presence, then don't go complaining about Armenia all the time from afar. That's not helping anybody, really. So that's what I have to say on that subject. There's some pretty big homes here, that's for sure. The average Armenian is not going to live in there, I can tell you. Over here is the monument to 50 years of Soviet Armenia. And here is the monument. Where, right in the distance there, you'll see something that looks like the Sydney Opera House. My sister in Melbourne wouldn't agree with me, but that's what it looks like to me. That's the sports centre. Tsitsanakabert, the Genocide Memorial Park, is part of that, and we're not very far. We live not very far from there. So the fourth reason why I believe the diaspora don't want to come and live in Armenia is due to the poor wages, or the poor local wages, I might add. The average wage would be about 150,000 drams per month. Now 150,000 drams, when I looked this morning, it was about $380 per month. Now most of you get probably 3 times that per week in the West, at least. But can you imagine $380 a month? That's what I get from my job. That's before tax, so you don't end up taking a whole lot home. That hasn't stopped me either. So from living here, that is. So yes, those of you who are living in the West and have lived for some time, you've probably already set yourselves up anyway with pensions and superannuation and whatnot, and you would have more than enough money to probably come and buy a place here and live. If you live fairly frugally, Sonia and I live off basically $1,000 a month or less. 800 to 900, we can live off that. We own our own apartment, and she's working and I'm working, and she doesn't get that much more than me. So, but she does get more than me. So, yeah, I can understand that would be another reason why. But honestly, as I said, you've already probably established yourself. You can open a business here relatively easily. You do have to go through the government system and organise your banking, and that it takes a little bit of doing to work all that out, but it's doable for sure. Maybe you don't want to earn a local wage, but you have an online company or something like that, or you build a factory here or something. And by the way, Yerevan is not the center of the universe, folks. Armenia needs repopulation, particularly in the regions, and particularly in the vulnerable regions. And I could think of no better thing to do from a humanitarian point of view than to go and live and work and help the community in these regions. People need your help. They need your expertise. When you win their trust and they understand exactly who you are as a person, they will, and you're here to help the country, not just to give lots and lots of money away. That's not the answer. No, to give handouts to people, but you'll win their trust and you can do a lot here, I believe. Many people are already doing that, and I take my hat off to them for the sacrifice they've made. So the fifth reason that I've put down is high rental prices and real estate prices in general. They've skyrocketed since the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and you can expect to pay between about $760 US a month to $1,500. That's a ballpark figure. It really all depends on where you live, what district you live, and what condition of apartment or house that you're renting. Certainly they probably doubled, and in some cases even tripled in price since the conflict, and that may be off-putting. But again, I'm appealing to diaspora and even foreign nationals who might want to consider coming to live here. Don't let that put you off either. I think that's going to balance itself out eventually, and you can still get good value for money if you're willing to search around and go a little bit further out of Yerevan itself, maybe into places like Azerbaijan, Ashtarak, Echmedsin, and of course the regional cities like Gumri and Goris. Beautiful, beautiful cities they are. Vanadzor and Harazdan, places like that. I'm ashamed to say that a lot of Armenians have become very greedy as a result of this, and I don't like it, but if you're willing to look around and look at the rental market, and also to buy, you can find good value for money just by doing some research and chatting to locals. And for the sixth and final point, I'm going to throw in another reason why diaspora maybe wouldn't consider coming to live in Armenia, and that's the crazy traffic. It is mental, and one of the reasons I believe it's mental is because after the collapse of the Soviet Union, it was a free-for-all where oligarchs basically took over the running of the country and infiltrated all different government departments, and consequently, if you wanted a driver's license, all you had to do was buy one. You didn't have to be a good driver, you didn't even have to know the road rules. I think that's one of the reasons. That's changing, and I hope that in the future with education is the key to everything, I think, and the future of better Armenia. We have to re-educate our drivers here. I've spoken enough about the crazy things that Armenian drivers do in the past. I'm not going to go back over that, but it's very off-putting to a lot of people who come from the West, for example, and are used to kind of some semblance of order on the roads, which you basically don't find here. All you have to do is take public transport. You jump on a marshrutka or a little minibus, or take the metro. Take a bus to the metro and go in that way. For 2 trips, it's going to cost you 200 drams. So 100 drams for each trip. And that would alleviate a lot of the problems that we're having in the city centre. So I wouldn't be put off by that, although I know that there have been people who have said I can't bear it any longer. You know, it's just too much. So don't drive in the city unless you have to. But you just have to go with the flow of the traffic, I guess, if you do, and drive safely, drive defensively, and you'll be okay with God's blessing. As I was thinking about it, I thought there might be another reason also. No doubt you've thought of some reasons too that I haven't mentioned. But one of them, I think, which is related to a few of the other points that I've mentioned, is that maybe it is that you're already established in your life in most probably a Western country, and you've got a kind of, there's a certain security that you have, and that's perfectly understandable. You've set yourself up, maybe you're successful in business, maybe all your family is there. But again, I'll say this, that sometimes it's good to put aside your personal feelings and your personal comfort, step out of your comfort zone, which is what Sonia and I did. We basically had enough money to be able to buy an apartment in Armenia, and that's it. From a humanitarian point of view, if I can say even a Christian point of view, our life should be about helping others, loving others, maybe even sacrificing ourselves for others, or even for our country, Armenia. You know that I wasn't born in this country, but I've adopted this country as my own. I feel like I have more of a connection with Armenia, much more than I ever had with Australia. I don't know, I can't explain that. So, if you truly want to come and help your country, you will have to make a sacrifice, and maybe many of them. But if, having spoken to many young people who've done just that, made big sacrifices, left their family in other countries to come and live here for a year, sometimes 2, sometimes more. Some of them are living here permanently. It's worth it. The reward is enormous. You might not see it in terms of financial reward, but there are so many other rewards which truly make it worthwhile. So I'll leave it on that note, and wishing you all the best, each and every one of you. I'm not looking down on anybody who doesn't come. Not all of you can come, not all of you want to, but for those of you who are thinking about it, I hope I've given you some things to consider today. So that's it for my 6 reasons why I think Armenians from overseas and also foreign nationals won't want to come and live or don't want to come and live in Armenia. And I hope that some of the reasons that or the counter points that I've mentioned will give you something to think about. And one more time I'm going to say, come and do this for the good of Armenia, because it's a beautiful country. We love it here, we love living here, we love the family orientated lifestyle, which is basically dead or dying in the Western countries now, with all sorts of evil things creeping in. We hope and pray that doesn't happen here. So we need more good people. We need you. We need you to come and make your home and bring your family here. It's all doable. And if I can help you in any way, please feel free to write to me through the homepage, or rather just send a message. If you like the video, please give us a like. That helps us quite a bit to give more exposure to the channel. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Okay, so it's bye from Mitch, and we'll see you next video. Bye.